excited about this next story and next guest, because it is, let's face it, a great excuse for anyone with a sweet tooth if you fancy a treat today, because it is World Chocolate Day. Like we need an excuse, really. Well, whether you prefer white, milk or dark, or even any of the new fancy ones like ruby chocolate, it's a pretty universal thing, I think, isn't it, that chocolate's loved? Well, a man who knows all there is to know about chocolate is Adrian from locoaboutcocoa, which is a brilliant name, in Plymouth, and he joins me in the studio now. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's very nice to have you, especially when you come bearing gifts that I've just spotted. So what is it, Adrian, that you love so much about chocolate?
There's just something about chocolate. It's when you first open that box of chocolates and you get hit with that beautiful smell.
Yeah.
Visually, the chocolates have to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And what's not to like about eating chocolates? It's just win-win-win.
Absolutely. I can't argue with any of them. Is there a particular type for you that's just supreme, that sort of outweighs anything else?
I've got a little bit of a sweet tooth, so I tend to go with the milk chocolate.
Yeah.
Dark chocolates are it's only certain people like dark chocolate, really. A lot of people think they do, but when they come to eat it, they think, no, really, I'm going to go back to the milk chocolate. Milk chocolate is my favourite by far.
Do you know, I think you've really got a point there, because I'm one of those. I always say that I really like dark chocolate, but when I really analyse it, the dark chocolate I like has got something else with it, whether it's got like a raspberry filling or something, or salt, or because I like those ones as well, like the chili ones and the salt ones as well. Really, really nice, where a lot of people are really anti that, aren't they?
The dark chocolate, I think a lot of people go with the dark chocolate because it's healthy.
Yeah.
And it is healthy. A little piece of dark chocolate every day is very good for you. It's good for lowering your blood cholesterol, your heart, and it's also full of antioxidants, so it's fantastic. But if you eat too much of it, it's quite poisonous.
Oh, gosh.
You have to eat quite a lot of it, so you're probably looking at about 6 kilograms of dark chocolate for it to be fatal. But a lot of people will eat dark chocolate, and they don't realise they get bad heads.
Oh, goodness, and that's because of that.
It's a substance in there called theobromine. So it's a little bit of poison in there. But as long as you have small amounts, it's incredibly healthy for you, so I recommend it, definitely.
Fantastic. Well, let's Adrian, talk a little bit more about your story, because you're a former Royal Marine. So how do you make, that is quite some change. How do you make the change from the forces to chocolate maker and creator?
It is a huge change, and a lot of friends still can't grasp the job that I'm doing. After about 15 years in the Royal Marines, I started getting problems with knees and back. Just the job takes its toll. And I had to retrain, so I went into the chef's branch.
Right.
And one of the jobs I'd done, the final job I'd done, was working in a cookery school for the Royal Navy.
Right.
Over on HMS Raleigh. And that's where I found chocolate. There was a couple of senior instructors, Bill Ferguson and Philip Roberts. They were playing with chocolate and they were learning chocolate and passing those skills on. And that's when I got addicted to chocolate. Goodness. So it developed from there. So my last 5 years, I was experimenting with chocolate, doing chocolate workshops, brought it into the cookery school itself for the young chefs coming through, passed that knowledge on to them. So it was a natural transition when I left the Marines and into what I call the normal world.
Yeah.
It was just a great job.
Is there ever a danger with working with something like chocolate that you can sort of be turned off from it? Because I've heard people say before, like sometimes they absolutely adored things like, I don't know, fish and chips, but they worked in a fish and chip shop and that was it. They couldn't go anywhere near it. That hasn't happened to you? No.
I think if you worked with dark chocolate all of the time, you that would happen. But because I work with white chocolate one day, and I do lots of taste testing to make sure everything's okay, the next day I make my milk chocolate and then I do my dark chocolate. By the time I finish making my dark chocolates, I'm ready for the sweet white again. So it's a vicious circle of constantly tasting chocolates.
Yeah, well, it sounds a terrible job,
it's a terrible job.
Awful. Have you come up with some sort of inventions then, some new sort of ways of eating chocolate?
No, when I first set off, I tried all sorts of fancy flavours and I looked at what other chocolatiers were doing. And I brought it right back to basics. So my flavours are very simple, very clean, and very basic. And I think if you get the centres right, then you can taste the chocolate as well. And it's about getting that balance between the taste of the centre and the taste of the chocolate. So to do that, I've kept them very, very clean.
Yeah, you are passionate about this, aren't you?
I love chocolate. Who doesn't? Everybody loves chocolate in different forms. I can remember many years ago lying in bed 12 o'clock at night and thinking, I want a big bar of Galaxy.
Yeah.
And getting out of bed and going to the garage to buy a bar of Galaxy. How crazy is that?
Or other chocolates are available, obviously. But yeah, no, absolutely. Gosh, no, but that is obviously a driving force. I mean, it's you associate chocolate with happiness. I mean, it is World Chocolate Day, and I think a lot of people do, don't they? There's something about chocolate that's very comforting. You know, it's such strange times at the moment with everything that's going on in the political world. Maybe a bit of chocolate at the moment is not a bad thing.
It really is. In small amounts, it's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter whether you go to the local shop and buy the cheapest, what I would call the not very nice chocolate full of sugars, or whether you go and buy high-end chocolate. Whatever chocolate tickles your taste buds, that's the chocolate you should be eating.
Particularly if it puts a smile on
your face.
And
a little bit of it doesn't harm, does it?
No, well, that's what they say, isn't it? A little bit in moderation. That's you can't go far too wrong. So in terms of, like, we've asked about what your favourites are. Yeah. What are your customers' favourites? Is there a standout, or is it just really varied?
So the way I do my boxes, I do them as share boxes. The first 12 months when I set up my business, I've done lots of taste testing. And I used some really expensive high-end chocolates, and people didn't like them. I brought them back to the Calibut and the Valiche Belgium chocolates. They've got that little creamy, sweet taste that's quite nice. Yeah. So when I do my boxes, I do a nice mixture of white, milk and dark chocolate. And I call them sharer boxes. It's a dirty word in the chocolate world. You don't share chocolates. But I do them as sharer boxes. So if you gift somebody a box of chocolates, the nicest way to receive a gift is to put that box on the table and share it with everybody. Yeah. So there's a flavour in the box for everybody, and that's the way I design my boxes.
Sounds
it's more
lovely.
of a sharing box.
What a lovely idea as well, just sharing the love a little bit. Adrian, thank you, and thank you for coming in with what looks like a little box there as well. And if anybody wants to find out more about Cocoa, how can they do that?
Obviously, on Google.
Yep.
If you can't remember locoaboutcocoa, if you just put in Handmade Chocolates Plymouth, you'll find me at the top of Google. The local post office in Plymouth is going to be, they're doing a little bit of renovation at the moment, and they're going to be stocking them. Or if you fancy a trip out, I pop over to Wembury Farmers Market the first Saturday of every month. Pop over and have a chat.
Fantastic. Adrian, once again, thank you for coming in today. Really nice to meet you and to see your chocolates as well. Just before we go to the news headlines, let's have a quick